There's a way swimmers can create propulsion that you've probably never heard about. And swimmers don't even have to use their arms or legs. That means free speed. Let's take a look at what it is and how swimmers can take advantage of it. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. In breaststroke, propulsion is typically associated with the arms and the legs. However, it's possible for swimmers to create propulsion through a mechanism known as wave propulsion. As swimmers are moving down the pool, they're pulling water along with their body. As I'm sure you've noticed, when swimmers finish a lap and touch the wall, a wave of water follows behind them. That's a perfect example of what's happening. As swimmers move forward, water moves forward with them. And it's not that they're pushing it ahead of them, it's traveling behind them. So in breaststroke, when swimmers are moving through the water, that mass of water is moving along with them at the same speed. So what happens is after breaststrokers take their pull, they're creating no propulsion, and they're in a relatively unstreamlined position with the head up. Because of those two factors, their speed quickly drops off. So right after breaststrokers finish the pull, they slow down, but that wave keeps moving. And so what happens is that wave actually pushes swimmers forward, and that creates another burst of propulsion that's relatively brief, but it is significant. And so once that wave happens, swimmers continue to recover the arms forward, they continue to recover the legs forward, and then so we see that drop off in speed. And then they have to kick to create propulsion, and then they have to kick to create propulsion again. So if swimmers execute great timing, if they maintain as effective streamline as possible, they can take advantage of wave propulsion at a point where they're otherwise not creating propulsion with their arms and their legs, and that can significantly add to their overall speed. And because it doesn't cost them anything, it's a very efficient way to swim faster. Let's check out what's happening, what it looks like, and a couple strategies to maximize the impact. First up, we're going to take a look at the wave that actually is traveling behind swimmers. So if you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about, you can see it here. So the swimmers are going to finish here, and then what you'll see is that the wall of water finishes behind them, comes behind them, and then comes forward. And you can see that wave crashing and smashing into the swimmers. And so we'll see the same thing here. He finishes, and then that water travels through, keeps coming through. And again, it's behind him. He's not pushing it forward. He's pulling it forward. And so when he slows down, in this case, he literally stops at the wall, that wave is going to keep coming. And so that's what we're dealing with here. That's the dynamics at play, and that is what is causing this effect. And so you can see there, the water keeps moving. It keeps coming past her once she finishes. So we'll see it again here. She's finishing, she's coming forward, and then the wave continues to travel forward as well. So ultimately, this is what's causing the effect. This wave of water is moving with the swimmer. When swimmers stop or when they slow down, that wave keeps moving, that pushes them forwards, and that's where we see that further increase in propulsion. Now, to demonstrate that I'm not just making this up, this is an old school velocity graph that Ernie McGleesco has kindly shared with me. And so it's very helpful to demonstrate this effect. And so it's been known about for a while, it's just not often talked about. So not the greatest video, but it very clearly demonstrates what's happening. So the swimmer's going to be moving through the stroke cycle here, and that darker line is the speed. And so this is where she's executing the pull. She's kind of finished the pull, and so she's starting to slow down here. And then all of a sudden, look, she's not doing anything with her arms. She's not doing anything with her legs. Now we get this little bump in speed, and that's where the wave propulsion is happening. And of course, once she really brings the knees forward, once she really drives the arms forward, we're going to see a huge drop off in speed because now she's creating a ton more drag. So it's that key point there where she's finished the pull, and that's happening right here. So this is the main aspect of the pull. She's creating her highest speed when she's really applying pressure. Now she's doing less and less with the arms. Now she's really slowing down. She's starting to come up. She's not creating propulsion with the upper body or the lower body. That causes that loss of speed. That's when the wave catches up with her. Then we get a boost in speed because the wave is going to push her forward. And that effect is pretty short because the wave is going to pass pretty quickly. And then she has to really compromise her alignment to recover the arms fully, to recover the legs fully, and then you're going to see that big drop off in speed. So this effect has been demonstrated for several decades. It is real, and it does have a positive impact on how swimmers are swimming. And so the key aspects are, one, swimmers have to have good timing so they don't disrupt their alignment when they have that wave coming through, and then after the wave, they need to quickly get back into the next stroke cycle to pick up their speed again. So let's see it in action with these swimmers. So we're gonna see the pull here, creating a ton of propulsion, and then right about here, that's where the propulsion is no longer present. And so there's going to be that loss of speed, but she's going to be boosted and pushed forward by that wave. Now, as you can see from like right about here to there, she hasn't really created any propulsion, but importantly, she still maintained really good alignment with the lower body. And so if swimmer's timing is off and they slam the knees forward when that wave is coming forward, that's like putting on the brakes when hitting the gas at the same time. And so a lot of swimmers who have problems with their stroke timing, a lot of it can be attributed to missing out on this wave propulsion because they're in a very poorly aligned position when that wave is coming through. And then another aspect of it too is if the swimmers over pull, they pull too far back, then again, they're going to be in a position where they've lost their speed. That water is coming forward, but they're having to push their arms forward under the water for a much longer period of time. And again, that's going to slow them down. And so that's another reason why having an effective pull and not overdoing the pull is really important. One, because they have to recover the arms further under the water, but two, they're going to miss out on the wave propulsion that would be occurring right about here. And so timing is very, very, very important. If swimmer's timing isn't on, not only will the whole stroke be messed up, they're going to miss out on the wave propulsion as well. Another important aspect is, so again, this is where it's going to start. She's no longer creating propulsion with the upper body. Notice that her hips are still up at the surface. And so swimmers that breathe, they finish their pull and they end up in a really compromised body position. Again, that wave is going to come through. It's going to push swimmers, but if they're positioned like this, it's like pushing them into a brick wall. If they can be pushed forward while everything is as aligned as possible, that's going to allow them to create more speed. So the key aspect of this skill and the benefit of this skill is that swimmers don't necessarily need to do anything extra. They just have to have really effective timing. And if they have really effective timing, they're not over pulling, they're maintaining their body position when they execute all these skills, and they're being patient with setting up the kick, they're going to take advantage of this effect. This is just yet another reason why these skills are so important. And while this may not directly impact what you have your swimmers do, it's important to understand what's happening. And when you have a better understanding of how swimmers are creating speed, it's easier to problem solve. It's easier to figure out what's going on. So we'll watch these skills with a different swimmer. Again, you can't necessarily see it happen, but you can look and pay attention to the positions that swimmers need to achieve to optimize the effect. So we're going to execute the pull here. So at this point, not really creating any propulsion. You can see the hips are up at the surface. His legs are aligned behind him, and his overall position is as aligned as possible considering he has to breathe. And so at this point, he's going to get that push forwards, and that's going to last until he really starts to drive the arms forward and the knees start to come forward as well. So while he doesn't have to do anything to create this effect, he's doing everything he can to take advantage of it. Now, most swimmers are not conscious of this happening, but the best ones can certainly feel that. If they maintain their position a little bit more effectively, they're going to get that surge. And breaststroke is much, much more difficult if you're not getting this free speed each and every stroke cycle. So again, executing a great pull, but not over pulling and ending up in a position where swimmers are going to have to compromise the recovery of the arms. Keeping the hips up through the breath, through the pull to prevent the body from dropping out of alignment. Being patient with the legs so that they stay as streamlined as possible right here when swimmers are getting that effect, and then quickly getting out of those positions once they no longer are benefiting from the wave propulsion, and then getting back into a streamline so that they can execute the next kick followed by the next pull. So the more swimmers can achieve these positions as they transition through the stroke cycle, particularly after the pull, the more they're going to be able to take advantage of the propulsion that is created by the wave of water that is moving behind them, that catches up with them once they experience that loss in speed. For more on how to optimize breaststroke timing, check out the video below.